Today's video is gonna be a little bit different. We're just gonna get ready together, but I am gonna show you an underpainting technique where we start with a little bit of contour and bronzer under our makeup, just because I'm looking for a little bit of like my glow from within. I don't feel like I often sit down and like do my makeup just for the enjoyment of doing it. And tonight we are taking our kids to a Cavs game with their friends, and we're gonna be like courtside. We bid on this thing at a fundraiser, and I'm like, you know what, it would be fun to do some makeup today. So we will pull this all together throughout the video, but let's go ahead and get started. Do you ever have those days where you're like, I just wanna feel like pretty, like I just wanna play with some makeup? That's where we're at today. So we did like the everything shower. I used my favorite scented body butter. You guys, I need a new one. This is from Saltaire. You can get this at Target. If you like vanilla, salt water vanilla, I am literally hooked. Did a little bit of skin prep because my skin is still really, we are winter skin still. So I did my favorite silicone-free milky toner from Rhode. Remember, anything that you put underneath your Seint makeup, you want it to be silicone-free. If you guys have never seen or used this product, it is, do you see that? My skin like eats it up. You will feel glowy and hydrated. It is literally amazing. So I have that on, as well as a sunscreen that I'm testing. So I'm not gonna share which sunscreen that is until I know how good it sits under makeup. So hopefully really good, because we're trying to get really pretty makeup that lasts. So we're gonna do all the things today. And let me grab my favorite overnight lip product, Youthful Lip Replenisher from Revision. I have a little bit on. We're gonna put a little bit more on now. This is not like the product that I take in my purse. It's like really thick and really hydrating. It does a great job of smoothing fine lines and wrinkles. So when I'm thinking that I'm gonna do like maybe a nice lip look with some actual like lipstick or something, I like to make sure I prep my lips and get them ready to go. So we will do that, let it do its thing throughout the video. When I want glowy skin, but I don't wanna necessarily change like my skin complexion, this is the Unique Bare You Illuminating Primer, and it just has kind of a like champagne-y gold sort of finish, which I absolutely love. You see how the skin is gonna glow? And it's silicone free. Anything and everything we talk about, as usual, will be linked below. My goal with this video is not to talk for an hour. Oh, no. All right, we're gonna have to push this back down. This is my MAC paint pot in soft ochre. It's my favorite one and done eye primer that also color corrects. Afterwards, we're gonna set it with a little bit of powder because I have wrinkly eyelids and I wanna get a really nice blend. But as I'm letting that primer dry, I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna do my eyebrows, and I do like to let everything sit. Everything that I put on my skin, I like to let sit. Skincare, like 15 to 20 minutes. This, at least long enough to like dry down and we kind of have a little bit of a tacky base. But for the purposes of being able to clean up my eyeshadow, I'm gonna do my eyes first today. Just gonna take this puff and my Vanilla Dust setting powder, and I'm gonna be very generous. Do you guys hear the background noise? I feel like every time I sit down to film, we have a train track behind us. So not only is there a train going by, but there is also a drone, like a helicopter-sized drone, checking the power lines. So I apologize for the background noise, but it's just how it goes sometimes. Go ahead and clean off my eyebrows. Now we're gonna grab our Archangle and get these eyebrows lifted. I'm gonna shape them with my brush to bring them up and then bring that tail out as opposed to down, just to create more lift to the eye. And then another product that I've been loving is from Refi. I haven't even looked at the reviews. I bought this on a whim. It has a little bit of, did you guys see? It almost looks a little bit goopy when it comes out, but it is a tinted brow gel, and I love that it gives me a little bit of a fill-in, but still a natural looking brow. I've been trying different brow products because my brows are really sparse, but also like I'm a product of the over tweezing era where like they should start all the way in here. But I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to fill in that much space on your brows. So I've kind of just gone for the natural tint 'em, set 'em, be done. I think I've decided that the star of the show today is gonna be the eyes. I typically pick like something. Do I want a bolder lip, bolder cheeks, bolder eyes? And I think today I'm gonna go eyes. So we're gonna play. We're just gonna see how this comes together. And I'm gonna start with Valencia. And Valencia is right here. I'm just gonna sweep this over the lid just to create a base color. It is matte, so I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. And I will do like one eye on camera, and then for the sake of this not being forever long, I'll do the other one before we switch to another color. Base color done, and now I'm gonna go into Chai, which is kind of like my lid shade, but better. And the magic of like a really nice eyeshadow look is all in the blend and making sure that it transitions from one shade to the next pretty seamlessly. And I like to think of Chai as like my color correcting shade. If all else fails, I can go back to Chai to use that to blend, to make sure that there's no harshness between shades or harshness like heading up towards the brow. I haven't moved any of my pressed pigments yet into my main palette, but this is Santa Fe and I keep grabbing for her. So now I'm starting to carve out the eye. So we are going above the crease up onto the hood, and we are adding it to the outer corner. Now we're gonna start to create that upturned almond shape to the eye, making sure that everything is blended between shades. My next favorite shade from the palette, this is Cowboy. And now I'm going here to the outer corner and just building up depth out here. Back into Chai, just to blend it all together. And now we have a mix of cool and warm. I find that the eyeshadows perform best together when you have a little bit of balance. If things are too warm or too cool, sometimes they can be difficult to work with or difficult to see the deviation between colors. Where now when I go in with something like Stardust, which is a taupey, it's a mix of a gold and a silver, but it tends to be a little bit cooler, it's not gonna be difficult to work with or look too harsh on the lid. I think I said the first shade was Valencia. It's actually Stay Golden, and that's what I'm using right now as a final blend before we do some Black Friday eyeliner and some drift for the tear duct and underneath the brow. Using the line brush, which has this tapered edge, I took some of our Black Friday cream eyeliner, and I'm pulling my lash line taut, which I know people say not to do, but I need to do it. I have wrinkly eyelids. And we're gonna go to the inner part of the pupil, getting softer towards the center. The Etch brush has this really nice flat end where you can soften this line and smudge it, and you don't have to worry as much about precision. I have very shaky hands, so eyeliner is always one of those things where I'm like, I don't want it to like scrape across my eye. But the whole purpose of eyeliner is really to define the eye and make your eyelashes look more full. So you want to hug that line, and if you have a hooded eye, wiggle it in the lashes. Taking a clean eyeshadow brush into Drift. I'm gonna go a little under the brow. I'm gonna pop some on the tear duct. We're gonna do our under eye haloing after we put our makeup on. Give my eyelashes a good curl here today. I have a deep set eye, so sometimes I have to lift my lid a little bit. We're gonna give this a good squeeze, and then 2 coats of mascara, one with my Lash Growth tubing mascara, and then Saint's tubing mascara over top. I feel like eye makeup, particularly mascara, takes me as long as the entire rest of my face when I'm actually trying to do something nice. Guys, these are the simple cleansing wipes. These are my favorite makeup remover wipes for sensitive skin. If you don't have sensitive skin or are not acne prone, the Seint Refresh wipes are so good. But they do have coconut oil in them. See, now we can clean up. They do have coconut oil, so I avoid that because I am acne prone. Gave that a second to dry, and now we're gonna start with our underpainting. So I'm actually gonna start with a little bit of Xanadu bronzer. Just gonna tap in, and we are gonna start to frame the face. And all we're doing is warming up the skin, and we're gonna create kind of a glow from within while also giving ourselves a little bit of redness reduction. So if you have some redness on the face, warming it up with something like bronzer will help reduce that a little bit, but it's not gonna give you the same sort of coverage that something like mango would. But don't worry, if we need more coverage, we'll definitely get it. But you'll see we're gonna go over this with our main highlight. We're just gonna have a nice glow coming through. This is also really good for somebody who's nervous about maybe like the harshness of contour lines, because we're gonna totally diffuse them, and we're gonna make sure to use our beauty blender. You'll see the magic come together. Now, when I do something like this, I do go for the ashiest contour that I have because I have redness in this area. So if you use a contour that has some redness, because remember, our contours give coverage. So the formulation is different than a bronzer. That bronzer is gonna add warmth, which actually like minimizes the look of your redness, but our contours have coverage. So if your bronzer has a red undertone to it, it may exacerbate your redness. So I would stick to Ash or Astoria if you have redness and you wanna do the underpainting method. And generally speaking, I always recommend a cooler contour for folks that have redness in the skin. I'm gonna really pounce in there. Our contour is the driest, and it's meant to be because we want it to be placed pretty specific. But I am gonna over exaggerate my contour a little bit because remember, we're gonna cover this up with a little bit of our main highlight. And then if we wanna add more later to chisel things out, we can. Because I have a larger forehead, I'm gonna create kind of this V, and you'll see we're starting to create depth around the perimeter, that shadow, adding light to the center of the face, or really making that light look more pronounced. This is a trust the process sort of application. So you'll have to decide if you think this is for you once you see the final look. And if you've noticed, our light is changing because we actually have some sun here now. Go figure. It has been very gloomy and very cold the last couple days. So now I'm going into Mango, and I'm gonna color correct the darkness under my eyes, maybe touch up a couple of these spots that I have before we start our main application. And you'll notice as we're layering, it's starting to look a little bit heavier. That's okay, because we are going to use our Perfector. Oh, I forgot about this pimple. Let me grab a brush. Spot brush, Mango. That's my color corrector. There we go. Still textured because I picked it. But as I was saying, if it starts to look a little heavy-handed, that's okay, because we are gonna use our Perfector and remove any excess at the end. Did you see how you just kind of now have more of a diffused, softer contour line? We've created that shadow. But if contour is something that makes you nervous, you could always use this method. Do it first. We'll add a little bit more and chisel it out. But now we have a little bit of glow to the skin. Our contour line is not as harsh as it would be if it were on top, but we still have the lifted cheekbone. It's just one of the many ways that you can play with your makeup, but I like the diffused look that you get from it. Going back to the detail brush, which is what I used for contour, and I haven't added anything to it. I'm just touching up the line, making sure it's soft. Flip the other way. And now I think I'm gonna add a little bit up here and flick up, just to really snatch all these brushes, snatch the cheekbone. Because I'm a bronzer girl through and through, I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna grab Bella. So you'll see this is Xanadu. Xanadu is a mix of Bella Bronzer and Glow Illuminator. That's why I used it underneath, because it does give just a really nice glow. But I'm just gonna touch up a little bit on top here on the edges and on the edges of my contour line, because I like the glowy look. Now let's do some brightener. I lied. Before we brighten, I'm gonna take the flat end of the smudge brush, and today we're gonna do some nose contour. So I'm just going to softly add a little bit of contour straight down the nose, and then I'm going to fluff it up to meet my brows. And we will blend this really well with our Perfector, but we're just gonna slim the nose. We're going straight down, blend it into the eyebrow, and then bring a little bit underneath. This is only half of a nose contour. The other half is the brightener. I'm gonna grab the small end of the blend brush, and I'm gonna brighten inner corner underneath where I have this eye bag, because that's a highly textured area for me. I'm cleaning up the outer corner and creating this lifted look. See how we're lifting? And then diffusing. And now I'm gonna take a little bit on the brush and just tap it all to connect and create a brighter under eye down the side of the nose for the other half of the contour. Softly in between the brows where I have texture. Down the center of the nose to complete the contour. Tap right here. And in some of these smile lines, because if darkness recedes, light comes forward. I have very strong smile lines. My husband tells me I'm a face chewer because I go like this. Anytime I'm stressed, thinking, reading a book, you can always count on me to be chewing on the inside of my gums, which I will say has not been productive for smile lines. Right here. Okay, I'm gonna go do the other side, and then I'll show you how we blend it all with our Perfector. Ride or die for me. I cannot layer my makeup without it. This is our Perfector sponge. I ran it under cold water, squeezed it out, let it sit in a microfiber cloth for a while, and now this is the magic. This is where it all becomes really, really seamless. And we take any heaviness. You see how we've already removed that heaviness? We blend our nose contour softly. And look how glowy, but soft, chiseled, but not overdone. It's one of my favorite things about underpainting. Because I want my eyes to be the main emphasis, I'm like really torn about what blush I want to do. So I think I'm going to start with Daylily. It's a beautiful neutral. It has a little bit of a mauve-y undertone, but I just want to create kind of a base here and make decisions from there. Like, do I want to leave it really simple? Maybe add a little bit. I pulled out Sunshine State just for glow on the top. I think I might. 2 fingers out from the nose, keep it away from your smile lines. Smile. Outside apples of the cheeks, go in the circle and go up. Remember, we're mobile people, so we want to make sure we have both sides going up that contour and bronzer area. So we have a little bit of fullness and a little bit of lift. What do we think? Do we need a little something more? I grabbed strawberry shortcake because I thought I might want to add just a little bit, and I think I'm happy I did. Strawberry shortcake is going to be so perfect for spring. Keeping it natural, not taking away from the eye, but still looking like youthful and alive. I'm gonna go back to my main brush, and just with whatever excess is on here, I'm gonna soften this line around my eyes and between my blush. I don't like, my wrinkles come all the way out and I don't wanna emphasize them, so I like to diffuse this area on the top of my blush line so that it's not sitting here or here. So you can do that right here too, because that'll just drag the face down or make your eyes look heavier. And I know I don't need any more of that. I'm gonna grab Sunshine State, which is a lip and cheek, but it's also just a really beautiful, very soft pink, like super soft pink, more of a glow. And it's a golden glow, so I feel like that pulls everything together really nicely. I'm just gonna press it in. You can use your beauty blender, your finger. I try and avoid just my finger so I don't have any finger lines. And I think today I'm gonna set with a loose powder. This is the Makeup by Mario Surreal powder, and I think it, oh, that's way too much. I think it works really, really well when applied softly. If you have mature skin and you're worried about powdering, it's all about the type of powder and the application. And typically I do vanilla dust, but when I feel like I have quite a bit of glow, or I want to set for what I think is going to be like a really long time, I want really long wearing, or I'm feeling oily, I'm going to do something like this, and I'm going to start at the outside and work in. And here's why. Our lines, our fine lines and wrinkles, if you fill them first and then come back, you're going to be less prone to having like creasing or cakiness, where sometimes if you come from here, you kind of miss the cracks and the creases and the crevices, and then it sits funny. But you'll see, we've just softened that a little bit. This is not like a color changing powder, which those are also really fun to play with. But I particularly like this one because I have to be very careful with the texture that I have, not to put on something that's going to exacerbate the texture. So I'm going in my smile lines as well as the under eyes, and you'll see just the soft difference. Because I am doing something kind of a little bit smoky, a little bit more drastic in the outer corner, I am going back into Cowboy, which was one of the darker shades that I used, and I'm using this on the outer third. So now I've set my under eye with a powder, but I'm haloing to give the illusion of an eyeshadow, an eyeliner, excuse me, without it being too harsh. Eyeliner under the eye really tends to age me, but something like this is both soft, but provides definition. And you have to remember, we have two eyelids. We have our top eyelid and our bottom eyelid. So this one here, that's why we want to avoid putting a lot of product like before we have that crease, because this is actually a really mobile area of the face. So we kind of now have set that to create a little bit more drama and really define the eye without doing anything too harsh or coming too close into the inner corner, because the closer we get to the inner part of the eye with darker colors, the smaller our eye will look. Taking Santa Fe, and I'm just haloing the rest of the way. And now we have that same diffusion of color on the bottom that we have on the top. The new favorite brush is the Lash brush. I'm grabbing my Seint tubing mascara, and I'm just going to add a little bit of soft mascara to my bottom lashes. Okay, I'm loving it. What do you guys think? I look loving it. Okay, I am, well, one, I'm gonna do some lips here, so you need to clean off what we had down, but also make sure we don't want the white ring of death around our lips. Make sure we don't have any cream foundation there, but you guys, you want your makeup to stay all day? One size, mattifying, waterproof setting spray. You could go swimming with this stuff on. Okay. That's not gonna move for 3 days. I'm just kidding, I'll wash my face when we get home tonight. I'm torn between which lip look I wanna do, so I'm gonna swatch them for you. This is the Lifter Liner, I got some on my hand, from Maybelline. I'm thinking it might be a little too mauve. And the Julep Beauty from Amazon, love this combo. But the other one, it's gonna be a little bit more brown, a little bit more taupey. This is the Tower 28 Work of Art. See how that one is a little bit more neutral gray based. The Versed, this is like the Cashmere color, okay, Cashmere is the color, Smoothing Lip Balm. This is from Target, and it is gorgeous. It's like a way more affordable version of the Bisou Balm, which is also beautiful, and then Merit's Lip Oil in taupe to top it. I think that's the combo that we're gonna go with. So let's do it. I'm gonna actually take a little bit of time here today and be more precise with my lip liner. If you're somebody whose lip liner always seems to pull your lips orangey, pinky, peachy, try something like Work of Art from Tower 28. It has a nice gray base to it, and that's one of my biggest issues. Okay, let me go do my hair, pick up my kids off the bus, and I'll be right back. All right, this is it, final look. Kids are picked up from the bus, gear is on. We are headed out to the Cavs game. You guys have to let me know, what do we think of underpainting? How do we like the get ready with me style videos? If it's something you'd like to see more, or there's certain shades or color families, just let me know. Are you excited for the game tonight?
Yeah, I am.
All right, guys, as always, I'm so thankful that you're here. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it. And as always, turn on your subscription notifications so you never miss a thing. And we'll see you next week.